Hey, welcome back to Military Family Investing. Now I have a little bit more time. I'm retiring, so that gives me more time to actually get on video. It's been a while since I've been on video, but I enjoy doing it and I want to give you guys some information. This is my rental room that I'm renting while I'm in San Diego. I'm not going to retire here. I already got everything set up in Florida, so I'm just here till I get out, which is a couple months from now. Then I'll be a civilian, right? So 24 years later, I'll be back to being Josh, which I don't know what Josh is. So that being said, so I'm gonna reflect a little bit. This is probably part one of my little diary here. Yeah, so I'm at the end, right? 24 years. I have a quick list of things to talk about: joining, travel, benefits, and the end, right? So joining, I joined from San Diego, 1999. I went to boot camp, but I was from San Diego, born and raised. And, I didn't have much travel before I joined. One of the reasons I joined, so I joined before September 11th. And obviously I joined to go to war, right? So there was no war kicking. September 11th happened and it kicked off. But I was already traveled. I was already overseas doing other stuff. So I didn't make it to the war at first, for our first few years, because I was overseas for a long time. Would I join again? Absolutely, right? It's provided me with a lot of stability, a lot of things, a lot of courage, a lot of personal development, and overall, I just love it. Like, it's a good time. If it didn't keep me away from my family so long, I probably would have stayed until 30. But at the end of the day, like, I've been apart for 3 years now, this last 3 years, so it weighs heavily on the family, so it's time to get out. Now, travel. So I joined, I had never been on an airplane. My first airplane ride was to Pensacola, where I stood there for a year. Then I got stationed back here in San Diego at Miramar. Did that, went through September 11th there. Then I went overseas on this duty called embassy duty, which you go and protect embassies. And I went to Africa, West Africa. I went to Central Asia, and I went to Scandinavia, which is like Helsinki, Finland. It was my last tour. I loved it, right? And so I met my wife out there on my second post, and it was a good time. Like, if you want to travel, the military is the way to do it. You travel in style, right? I'll probably get into some of the other stuff, some of the mental health stuff later on in the next one. But it's all part of life, right? The sooner you go through things, the better you can reflect and learn how to deal with things and stuff like that. So then I went to Japan after embassy duty, came back to Arizona, went to South Carolina, went to mainland Japan, came back to Pensacola for a few years, went back to Okinawa, Japan. Now I'm back in San Diego. I'm probably missing one or two in there. But yeah, so I had like 10 duty stations or more over 24 years, seen it East Coast, West Coast, overseas, 7 years in Japan, 4 years in embassy duty, Afghanistan. So yeah, I've been around. And then, when you go to Japan, you go to all these other different places, Thailand, Philippines, yada, yada, yada. So you're over there doing your stuff over there too, which is great. So some of the benefits, obviously you get a skill set. It's not just that you get a skill set, but you get to differentiate your skill set. You're not just going to be working on a radar, in my case, for the whole 24 years. You're going to train, then instruct people on the radar, and then develop and learn how to deploy the radar with 7, 8 Marines underneath you. And then you're going to run the whole thing. This is just from my perspective as an air traffic control technician. So then as an E8, I had the whole team, radar, communications, navigational aids, and weather, all underneath me. Okay, so that was 50 men I had to train in their respective jobs, come together, deploy, go to the middle of nowhere, set up a air traffic control facility, launch aircraft, recover aircraft, things like that, right? And so when you join, you don't even know how to even fix one radio, but by the time you get out, you can deploy a whole suite, right? Generators, fuel, how to set up tents, live in tents, order chow, order trucks, you become a little logistics person or whatever the case may be. You learn the bigger picture, and then by the time you get out, so I'm retiring as an E9. So by the time you get out, you are now helping in the planning process to ensure that young people are going forward with the information they know, right? So if you stay in for the long haul, you're going to go through a whole process. You're going to be the little troop, then you'll help deploy the troops, and then you go big picture where you're helping on the back end to ensure that the troops are deployed with all the stuff they need, right? Food, band-aids, bullets, information, whatever, right? So it's a good deal. Obviously the pay, if you look at the pay, I think the pay is pretty equal to civilians at this point, with the healthcare at least. And then the fact that you don't pay into your pension, right? You pay into 401k, but you don't pay into your pension. And the civilians, if they do have a pension, pay into it, right? And some of them pay into it with their Social Security. Instead of Social Security, they pay into it. Some of them just pay a fat 7%, but we don't pay any of that stuff. So if you're in the military, in the Marine Corps at least, we had like a chart you could log in and see kind of like where you reflect your personal statement, where you could reflect against civilian roles. So I mean, as an E9 in San Diego, I was getting out with $183,000, equal equivalent to a civilian role. So I don't have a college degree, so you know, not too many people could say that, you know. And I love my job. Again, at the end, it gets more stressful when you're up high, because you're dealing with so many different movements, so many different people, right? And so it's more stressful at the end. However, we do all miss the days of where you're just a guy who just, hey, go sweep. Okay. If you're that guy, enjoy it, right? If you're the person sweeping, mopping, taking out trash, enjoy those days, right? Because they're not forever. And someone's going to pay you to sweep them up with the best of them, right? And take ownership of that and lead, not to go on a tangent. A lot of people don't want junior people taking out the trash, but the whole point of that is so that those people can build responsibility. So at 3 p.m., the E4 goes and grabs 4 E3s and says, hey, let's take out the trash. Here's the plan. Take everything out. Come back. Confirm with me, right? It's a leadership challenge. It's a leadership issue. It's team building, right? And so then the little guys, the younger guys, they get used to at 1500 being responsible for something outside of their job, right? So it's not the fact that you're taking out the trash, it's a bigger picture, right? So anyway, that's my tangent. Now, at the end, okay, so I'm at the end of it. I'm reflecting back. I'm not going to work again, right? So if you do your money right, which is why I started this channel, I didn't have the information in 1999, right? I didn't have the information until 2019. That's 20 years, right? So I spent the last 4 years collecting information, gathering information, and trying to push it back out to where it needs to go, to you, right? So get the information. If you do 20 years, you want to set yourself up to where you don't have to work at least a full-time job. Okay, so if you're going in, if you're listening to this, you're young, if you're under 5 years in, if you stay in, get your money right. That's the place to get your money right. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up. I hear some noise outside in San Diego. Everybody's doing something during the day. But at the end, it's good, right? It's good. The money's good, retirement's good, and if you set yourself up with dividends, some real estate, and your pension, potentially disability, depending on what happened to your career, you should be fine. And then you can build on something, create something that you really want to do, right? But if you're just in here like a job and you're just going to work for 20 years and get out, get a pension and keep working, then perhaps you're better off just going straight into the civilian world after 4 years and building that career over there, right? Because you're going to get out, you're going to have a skill set, but then you're going to relearn. You're not going to have the same entitlements in terms of time as you do in the military, right? Military, when you're not deployed, is family friendly for the most part. When you're not forward deployed, right? On a day-to-day basis, you can help assist with your family, take care, help your wife out, help your kids when they're going to school. However, the civilian world is a clock-based, okay, time-based. So you're not just going to be shuffling around. Oh, can I get 2 hours off here? 2 hours off here? Nah, civilian world doesn't work like that. So there are benefits to growing in the military. Okay, yeah, they'll take all those hours back when you deploy, but as long as you set your family up, deployments are good. Okay, deployments won't be as taxing as you think, right? As long as your family's set up, have the information to deploy. Okay. All right. So there's no way to get on my nerve. Hopefully, I can kick these videos more often now that I have more time. And with that said, I will see you in the next one. Bye.